Hello everybody, I'm coming up here. Today we are going to see freshers interview questions which was asked in Infosys on SAP MM. SAP MM Infosys interview questions. Okay, first question. They've asked for P2P cycle. What is P2P cycle? This procure to pay cycle. Starts from, your answer should be like it's procure to pay cycle, and it starts from purchase requisition, ends with vendor invoice in SBM. Okay. First is purchase requisition. Next, request for quotation, RFQ. And then quotation maintenance. And then quotation comparison. Vendor selection, purchase order creation, PO, goods receipt, and invoice verification. Your answer should be like this. Okay. Next, what are the types of procurement you have worked in MM? They have asked this question. You are fresher. Procure to pay cycle, scheduling agreement, subcontracting vendor consignment, finally individual purchase order and third party sales. These are all types of procurements. They have asked to a fresher. Okay, next, what is a scheduling agreement? They asked for what is scheduling. Your answer should be like just in time. Material comes in, that is, material is being dispatched by the vendor to the company, and we directly send it to the production line. We are not going to hold it in the warehouse, or we are not going to hold it in the storage location. Okay. So based on the date and time, they have to send it. So if the agreement date is today's date, then today only they have to send it. Okay, that is scheduling agreement. Okay, just in time delivery from the vendor based on the scheduled date and time. And the scheduling agreement itself is a release order. What do you mean by a release order? Your answer should be like scheduling agreement itself is a release order. What do you mean by release order? Based on the release order, you can do goods movement. That is, you can do goods receipt based on the release order. But purchase requisition is not a release order. Based on that, you cannot do goods movement. That is, you cannot do goods receipt based on purchase requisition. You need a supporting document like purchase order to do goods receipt. So purchase requisition is not a release order, but rather scheduling agreement is a release order. Based on that, you can do goods receipt. Okay. They ask for a process. The process is you create a scheduling agreement in ME31L, and the document type is LP. They ask for movement type, standard movement type. 101 is the movement type. Okay. Document type is already I told you LP. And based on the agreement created on ME31L, we create scheduling dates in ME37. Based on that, we go. The transaction code they have asked. Based on that, we do goods receipt and invoice verification. Now, major difference between ECC and S4. They have asked this question to a fresher. Major difference is BP transaction. BP transaction. In ECC, enterprise central component or enterprise core component, you have XK01 for the creation of the vendor. But in S4 HANA, it is BP, business partner. Okay, that is one of the major differences. BP transaction code, business partner, transaction code BP. Next, material ledger activation. So material ledger is not available in ECC, but rather it is available in S4 HANA. Material ledger activation. Plant activation. Third is plant activation. It's not available in ECC, but rather it is available in S4 HANA. S4 HANA. The transaction code, they may ask you, what is the transaction code for plant activation? You have to say like CKM start. Transaction code CKM start. Okay. Now, MIGO transaction would be. In ECC, you have MB1A for goods issue, MB1B for MB1B for transfer posting, and MB1C for inbound. Okay. But rather, all these three transaction codes as they have removed all these three transactions: MB1A, MB1B, MB1C. All the three transaction code they have removed, and in Vigo itself you can do it. All the three. So these are all the major difference you can speak of. These questions they have asked to a fresher. Next, integration point between MM and FS. Reconciliation account in supplier master. First part. Reconciliation account in supplier master. Next, valuation in material master. Valuation class in material. For raw material, it is 3000. Raw material in material master. Third, automatic posting for material master, material management, OBYC, transaction code OBYC. Goods movement, all the goods movement gets recorded in OBYC transaction. Next, vendor consignment process. They ask for vendor consignment. So what is the process? They asked. First of all, what is the definition? You have to say like, vendor keeps the material in the company's premises, but under the ownership of vendor. Once the company is consuming it, it will be billed by the vendor. Becomes payable. That is what the definition is. Goods lying in company's premises under the ownership of vendor. Once the company consumes it, it will be billed by them. Next, what is the process they have asked? The process is nothing. You have to create a info record in ME11 for with the supplier master and material. And then you have to create a consignment purchase order in ME21N. K, consignment purchase order. And then you have to do goods reserve. Once when you do goods reserve, vendor stock will become consignment stock. Consignment vendor stock becomes consignment vendor stock. And then you have to do transfer posting. 411K is the movement type. Based on that, it becomes, once when you do transfer posting, it becomes company stock. And then vendor bills, company will be billed by the vendor. Vendor bills the material. Okay, because we are consuming it in, and we have to post the invoice in MRKO transaction. MRKO transaction. That is vendor transaction. Okay. Movement type is 41411K. Subcontracting process. They asked for subcontracting process. It is nothing but actually we send the raw material to the vendor. Vendor in turn sends us back the finished goods. That is the definition. And they asked for process. They asked for process. The process is nothing but as usual. We create material and supplier, and then we create a info record, and then after creation of the info record, we create a purchase order. Now the purchase order, before the purchase order, we have to create one more master data bill of material, CS0. In CS0. That is main material and components. Main material with the components. You create a bill of material, and then we create a purchase order. Based on the purchase order, that is subcontracting purchase order. Based on the purchase order, we send the goods to the vendor. Raw material will be sent. Raw materials will be sent to the vendor. From the vendor, we receive the goods in Vigo, and finally we will be billed by the vendor. That is subcontracting. Now, the movement type is 541. Movement type. They asked for movement type. And finally, they have asked for standard movement type, 101 movement. Returns order, 122. Cancellation, 102. GR cancellation, 102. Physical inventory, 70170. Physical inventory. Stock transfer order, between plants, one-step procedure, 301. Two-step procedure, 303 and 305. And between storage location, one-step procedure 311, two-step procedure 311 and 350. This is all the questions they have asked in Infosys.